Hi, welcome back to The Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda, and in today's episode, we're carrying on with the Halloween crafting series. I've put together my top 10 very favorite Halloween DIYs, and they're in no particular order because I like them all so much I couldn't pick which I liked better than another. I'm starting off with the door hanger that I made for my niece. It is one of my absolute favorite Halloween DIYs, and it was made with a Dollar Tree sign. First, I removed the sticker off of the sign because the back is going to be our front, and I removed the hanger. Then I cut out a piece of brown craft paper that will cover the glittery side of the sign so we'll have a nice clean backing. And this time I used Mod Podge to glue it down. I used spackle to fill the hole where the hanger used to be. I coated the front side with some white chalk paint. Then I drew shiplap lines, and they were about 2 inches apart. Next, I applied some gray chalk paint for some distressing. Then I put the faces on the ghost, and I wanted a girl ghost and a boy ghost. So the first one I'm working on is the girl ghost. I think it's these little details that makes this one of my favorite Halloween decorations that I've ever made. Just the cute little wispy eyelashes on this little girl ghost and her little rosy cheeks that I gave her, and especially the sparkle in her eyes. And I also did this on the boy ghost. And her little bow on her head. I love her. The reason I say only put the hot glue around the edge is because that hot glue kind of makes like a ridge line through that foam, and you don't want lumps and bumps under there. I really thought I was about done decorating the ghost, but then I realized there needed to be one more thing. I put a rhinestone gem from the Dollar Tree in the center of the little girl's bow. And I added a little fun detail with the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. And I made a new hanger from the back, just hot gluing jute string and some popsicle sticks down. And my little niece just loved it. She hung it on her bedroom door. This is one of my very first YouTube Halloween decorations I ever made, and I got to use a Halloween cloche from the Dollar Tree. I was so lucky to find one because you didn't just find them all over the place like you do now. But anyway, I decided that I wanted this little bonehead to go inside of my cloche, so I painted him up with some white paint. The most important piece of this project is this little cloche or dome, whichever you want to use. Some people have been able to find them in their Dollar Trees and some people have not. I got lucky. This one was sitting all by itself, misplaced. Someone had just laid it down and I found it. So you can't tell it really in the video, but it's really a brown color, so that's why I'm painting it black right now with just regular black acrylic paint. You can certainly put whatever you want inside of your cloche, but I'm going with the Dollar Tree black roses. I just plucked one out of the bunch and I'm going to hot glue it down onto the bottom. I did trim, I snipped off a piece of the plastic where the flower was attached to the stem just so it would lay flatter, and hot glued it down. Mr. Bonehead gets layered on top of the flower and I just hot glue him down right on top. In this bunch of black roses, you'll see that they have these little twiggy looking pieces that I thought would kind of look like little dead trees inside of the cloche with Mr. Bonehead. So I snipped those off of the bunch, and believe it or not, my hot glue gun is so hot. My hot glue was still workable at this point, and so I just stuck it under the rose where the glue was still hot, and they held. Also in the bunch of black roses are some spiders, so I cut one of the spiders out of the bunch and hot glued him right on the side of Mr. Bonehead's head. Now you don't see it here, but I did try to put the dome down on top, but I saw that the flowers were folding up and covering up Mr. Bonehead's face. So that's why I'm trimming my rose petals so that they won't bunch up and hide Mr. Bonehead. every one of the candles while they were sitting in the candelabras so that they had a sparkly, neat, drippy effect. That's some classy Halloween decorating, isn't it? I did a whole video on just Beetlejuice decorations. I love that movie. I have to watch it every single year, and every adoring Beetlejuice fan needs to have the handbook for the recently deceased. And so I just Googled handbook for recently deceased into Google and I come up with this image. I printed it out, the size that would go with this book, which I got from the Dollar Tree. I picked this one because it was a brown book, and so I didn't think I would have to do much painting on this book, and it looked like it matched my image pretty well. And so I thought that I was going to cover up that wording on the binding and write my own with a metallic gold pen, but I scratched that idea because my penmanship's just not that great. I just covered it up with the brown paint and it all came together just fine. So here we are with the image cut out, and we're just going to Mod Podge it onto the book. Next, I wanted to paint over the original title of the book that's on the binding of the book. So I used my Waverly Truffle chalk paint from Walmart, and I painted over the words, but if you look closely, those words were kind of embossed into the book, and so it still left indentations that I didn't like. So at this point, I still thought that I was going to write with that metallic paint pen over the old words, but didn't pan out. So anyway, fixing the indentions that the old words made, I just used spackle, just regular spackle, and I just filled in where the words were and smoothed it out with my finger as best I could, and it worked very well. And then I was able to apply another coat of the brown paint on top, and it blended in. And also, I should mention, the color of this book and the color of the paint blend so well once it's dry. You can't tell that you put any paint on this book. So if you have better penmanship than me, then you could use this metallic marker from the Dollar Tree to write the title on the binding of the book too. My husband and I have a Halloween party every year, and that year I went as Lydia, and so I had the perfect prop to carry around with me, and everyone was like, "Where did you get that?" This one's going to be a crystal ball, and so cool. All the stuff is from Dollar Tree: a lantern, a Christmas ball, and a tea light. The first thing you have to do is cut out the haunted house from the lantern. Now that the house is free of the cardboard, you'll want to cut it in as round a shape as you possibly can, because it's going to go inside of the round plastic ornament. Now, because the house is rectangular, of course I couldn't get a perfect circular shape unless I wanted to cut off a lot of the house, which I did not. So I just did the best I could, rounding off the edges. Another important step is to cut a little tab that will kind of stick out the bottom of the crystal ball, and this is what you're going to use to glue it into place. Okay, so admittedly this part is kind of sketchy. You can see I've melted part of my crystal ball trying to collect some black smoke, which is supposed to make your crystal ball look old and kind of dirty. Maybe there's a better way of doing this, but that smoke really does look pretty cool in that ball. I wish it would stay like that. Okay, so now that you've got your crystal ball somewhat dirty from the smoke and without melting the whole thing down, you roll up your little plastic design and put it inside of the crystal ball. Now you glue the little tab that you made at the bottom to the inside so that it will stay in place where you want it. The next step is to paint the tea light holder. So I just used regular black acrylic paint and gave it about 2 good coats. And using the black glitter glue that I got from Walmart, I put a coat of that on the tea light to make it look more mystical. And I'll tell you, this glitter glue, I believe, really is a better way to get sparkly accents without having to get glitter everywhere, because it's mixed in the glue, it doesn't come off, it doesn't get all over your hands, your clothes, your tables, and everything. The next step is to put a bead of hot glue all around the top of the tea light holder, and you will put your crystal ball into place. I had this sign that I had gotten on sale at the Dollar General store. I thought it was a great shape for a Halloween decoration. So I went into Canva, I printed out some words, and I'm using a glittery foam black cat from the Dollar Tree to make a Halloween sign. Now, when I made this, I had no idea about doing any transfers with wording onto things other than just cutting out pieces of paper and Mod Podging them onto your object. But nowadays, I probably would Mod Podge and then use the water method to peel away the paper, and that way you're just left with the ink and it looks like a better transfer and you don't see the paper. I wanted the handle to have some wood beads, so I took 3 sets of beads. I painted them orange, yellow, and white like candy corn. This sign already had a really nice hanger, and so I just cut off one end so that I could string my beads up, and I stapled it back down in place when I was done. Even though now I know better techniques to get words to transfer onto signs, I still love this sign so much. It makes me happy. This DIY is using 3 of the different haunted house wood pieces that they have at the Dollar Tree. I love these haunted houses. Now the goal here is to make these haunted houses stand up. And the way we're going to do that is using some tumbling tower block pieces from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use some super glue, wood glue that is also from the Dollar Tree to attach them to the back of the haunted houses so that they will stand up. You'll notice that one of these houses is kind of curvy on the bottom, and so you need to place those tumbling tower blocks a little bit lower. Make sure that you play around with your tumbling tower blocks, attaching them to your houses and making sure that they will stand up properly before you let the glue set. And the last step is to paint these houses front and back with some black paint. And this is what you'll have, and it's perfect for setting up your own little Halloween town with some lights behind them that would shine through the windows and doors. This one has to be the most fun Halloween decoration I've ever made, and all it took was a pillar candle that I already had in my stash and had already been lit, and a black crayon. And here comes some pyromania. Just take your long candle lighter and melt that black crayon all the way around the candle, dripping that black wax. Look how it just drips perfectly down the side. That is so satisfying to me. I enjoyed this project so much. And since I had kind of accidentally dripped some of the black wax onto the top of the candle, I decided to just try to go for an entirely black top. So what was left of my crayon that I couldn't hold on to anymore because my fingers were getting too hot, I just laid it on top of the candle. I used a toothpick to kind of move it around when I needed to, and I melted it down into a puddle on the top of the candle. The last one on my list today is one of my most recent Halloween DIY decorations, and it's actually a farmhouse decoration. It has buffalo check, it has black and white, and it's just really classy, classic Halloween decor, but with a farmhouse twist. You really never know what that frame is going to look like when you take these canvases off of the dollar store ones. So this one was kind of rough, and I decided to give it a nice sand. You'll also notice that the staples that will be on the front of this frame for us are kind of showing. So I'm going to mask them with some wood filler, and then when that's dry, I sand that down. And paint your frame with black paint. Once the frame is dry, then you can reattach the canvas to the back side. And you have a decision to make if you want to use the natural color or the white side of the canvas. And in this case, I went with the natural color side. Then trace out your frame onto the canvas. Then cut the canvas to fit on the back side of the frame. And try to cut on the inside of the lines that you traced because you don't want any of that canvas peeking out around the edges from behind. I used my heavy-duty stapler to reattach the canvas to the frame, but if you don't have one of those, you could certainly use hot glue. This is a picture of a bat that I printed out onto cardstock paper. I made him just the right size that would fit inside of the 8x10 frame. I think you have 6.5 inches across to work with to be inside of the frame, so I stayed on the safe side and made my bat 5.5 inches wide. The bat that I printed out and I just cut out is only a template. I'm using it to trace around onto some scrapbook paper and poster board with different patterns and colors. I made 3 and then I cut all 3 out. And this is how they are going to be arranged in the frame. But I thought just one more little detail would make this super awesome cool, and that would be to fold the wings in just a little bit, and that makes them a little bit more realistic. I used foam strips from the Dollar Tree to stick my bats to the canvas. And I made a hanger out of some black ribbon and stapled it to the back. And I think that this would fit in with a farmhouse Halloween. I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list of favorite Halloween DIY decorations this far on my YouTube channel. I promise there'll be many more to come. If you want to see more DIY fun, click the link that I've provided here and I'll see you next time. Bye!